Hey guys, this is Joe from Joe's Corner. I know you're expecting Colin to do this spoiler, but unfortunately he's predisposed right now, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And we're gonna talk about the green starter deck that just got spoiled. Without further ado, let's go. This is based on Gill, which looks like it's Gill from the past, so it'll be a cool look into it. So first you have our ruler, Gill. He has a Judgment of 3. He has Energize. And then he has his special ability. Remove an elemental in your graveyard from the game. Produce 1 green mana. Spend this will only to play Spirit Magic Chance. Play this ability only once per turn. Now, this is going to be an interesting, interesting theme of the deck. You're going to have elementals. You're going to feed them into the graveyard, and then you're going to remove them to be able to play Spirit Magic Chance. It's going to be interesting. His next ability is tap him, search your deck for a card named Gentle Breeze Elemental, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So a lot of the rulers recently I've noticed have those tap abilities, activate abilities, which is really interesting. I think it's something new that Force Will's trying out. I like it. The bottom is of course that weird scribbly seal thing, and yeah, so let's just ignore that because it doesn't matter right now. Next we're going to look at his flip side, Gill the Gifted Conjurer. This is J ruler side. So right off the bat he has Barrier. That's great. Dodges Moonbeam, dodges a lot of J ruler removal. So I like that. He doesn't gain anything else really. Remove an elemental. He still has his ability. Remove an elemental in your graveyard from the game. Produce 1 green mana. Spend this will only to play Spirit Magic Chance. Play this ability only once per turn. Flip side, he's an 11/11. The barrier is nice, but he doesn't really give anything past that. Next, we're gonna look at Cecil Ledolile, the Elven Prince. She's an elf resonator for 5 mana. You may pay 1 less to play this card for each elemental in your graveyard. Elemental resonators you control gain +2/+2. Now what's kind of nice about this card is that the majority of this deck is going to be based on feeding your graveyard. You're going to feed elementals in your graveyard, and then you're going to at some point remove them from game to fuel basically fuel your Spirit Magic cards chance. And so this card, you probably should be able to get it out maybe turn 3 or turn 4 if you're playing the deck right, is what it looks like to me. I like it as kind of your win con. I like it. Next we have Elven Guide for 2. He's a 600/600. The last person was 1,000/1,000, by the way, if you didn't see. When this card enters the field, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 from among them in your graveyard and the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Now initially I'm not really sure I like this card because it doesn't draw you a card. It's a 2 mana 6/6. That's already that's okay I guess, but I kind of wish you drew a card. But upon looking further, again it lets you feed your graveyard for those elementals, and it gets the deck engine running faster. So not bad. Next we're going to look at Gentle Breeze Elemental. It's a 1 mana quick cast. It's a Spirit Magic and an elemental, which is important because it can be both played by Gill and removed by Gill to produce 1 green mana, and it's a draw card. So this deck really has a focus on kind of getting through your deck quickly. You've got draw cards, you've got draw 3. It's good. Next we're looking at Guardian of the Portal for 2 green mana. It's a 6/6. She's an elf resonator. I'm not thrilled about this one very much at all. It has rest another recovered resonator you control. This card gains +1/+1 until end of turn. My issue with that is that I don't think there's ever there's not a lot of times when you want to be able to rest recovered resonators. She could fit in some kind of feasting deck where you're generating a lot of elf tokens and your tokens aren't doing anything. Then she could be, her effect could be valuable, but I just don't see her effect as being that strong. Next, we're going to look at a Leaf Fighter for 1 green mana. He's a 4/4. He is also an elemental, but that's all he is. He's just a vanilla 4/4. So it seems to me already that this deck is more of a mid-range kind of deck. You got just a 4/4 beater that you play down turn 1. they're gonna have to do something about that. The 5-cost girl, Leaf Fighter is probably eventually going to die. And if he does, it's fine. He's feeding your 5-cost girl, Cecil. So, Leaf Magician, he's 3 mana, 7/7. He is also an elemental. You know, the theme of the deck is elementals. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, draw a card. So, you know, he does something when he exits the field, and then again, Gill can remove him from the game to produce 1 green mana to, you know, maybe play that chant draw a card. You know, like I said, this is just going to fuel that 5-cost girl even harder. You should be able to have Cecile out by, you know, maybe turn 3 or turn 4. If, you know, if the deck starts rolling, it could get pretty scary. Next, we have the Traveling Trader. He's a 1 green cost, 3/4. He's a human resonator. When this card enters the field, draw a card, then discard a card. You know, not one of the best cards, but his draw a card and then discard a card, again, it fuels your graveyard, gets those elementals in there, and that's kind of what you need him to do. That's what the deck wants to do. And a 3/4, you know, like I said, more mid-range stuff, that's not bad. So next we have Tree Root Sprite for 3 mana. He's an 8/8. He's a fairy resonator, so doesn't have too much to do with the deck idea at all. When this card enters the field, choose 1. Destroy target non-magic stone, non-J resonator entity. It's a little bit interesting wording on the entity part, but basically it looks like it hits, you know, additions and regalia, and probably something else that I'm forgetting. Or your second option is search your deck for an elemental and put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your deck. You know, so this guy, again, you drop him out, you feed your graveyard, and then you drop Cecile, or you generate green mana for your spirit chance. Next, we're gonna look at what I think is one of the better cards in the deck, Vanish. It's a quick cast for 3 green mana. It's spirit magic, which means you can use Gill's ability to fuel it. So most of the time, it'll probably only be 2 green mana, and it's basically just a cancel target spell. Now, you know, the reason I like this card is because at the minimum, like a 3 mana cancel is not bad. And usually you're probably going to have this most of the time at a 2 mana cancel. And, you know, that's not a bad card for the deck, especially since you should be having a lot of elementals in there, so it should most of the time be 2 cost. So again, you know, next we have Winds of Vitality for 1 green, quick cast mana. This is another spirit magic, which means Gill can again play his ability to fuel it. Target J resonator gains +6/+6 until end of turn. This is another, you know, this is basically like obvious mid-range stuff. You know, it's kind of free if your deck's going off and, you know, you've got like 5 elementals in there. This is gonna be a great card because you can be tapped out and bam, you know, you remove a card. It's a good battle trick on their turn too. Quintessential mid-range card. But you know, buffs your guy +6/+6. Good card. And that's about it. We have the Spirit Stone for the mana. It's a special magic stone. You treat it as a wind magic stone, which is fine. It produces green. Its special effect is banish this card, draw a card. Now, I'm not really a fan of that because you usually don't really want to destroy your own mana base. Or your own stone base, I should say. The one, you know, I guess Green Will, you can produce it and then banish it. And, you know, if you need that extra draw card, it's great for like a big push, but not a big fan. Finally, I have regular wind magic stones, basic magic stone. That's basically the idea of Gill. You know, I kind of like the deck. Seems like Cecile Leto is definitely the linchpin of the deck. You know, dropping her early on in the game, you know, she is a great mid-range card. She should be dropping turn, you know, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden, you've got 6/6s of the, you know, 1 cost 6/6s. Yeah. Gill himself is a little lackluster. He does well in the deck that he's in, but as of right now, he only works for those specific cards, and his flip side is not overwhelmingly strong. But the starter deck itself is great. I think it has a very cohesive theme, and the theme seems interesting. I like Gentle Breeze Elemental. You can, you can pay one green mana, discard, use the Gentle Breeze Elemental, you draw a card. Now all of a sudden you've got another Gentle Breeze Elemental you can remove from play, the one in your graveyard, and keep casting stuff. I think Gentle Breeze Elemental is a decent card in this deck, and I think Vanish could be a good cancel card. Probably won't see a lot of regular play because we already have 2 mana and literally free cancels, but another cancel at 3 might not be bad. Anyways, sorry you guys were probably waiting for Colin, but hopefully you enjoyed my commentary and my spoilers, and you enjoyed listening to me. Okay, thanks for watching.